It is, I believe, after 8. If not, it's getting close to 8 o'clock. And as I was sitting here on this here toilet, thinking, this old energy took hold of me and was bringing things to my mind that God or the universe or whatever it is that you may want to call it showed me. And between the years of 2011 all the way up to 2013, had I been given a series of visions. And in those visions, I got glimpses of things. And while I was getting those glimpses, I didn't quite understand because I had took a hold of religion. And in that particular religion that I took hold of, that my ancestors were given in a way that wasn't so beneficial. Let's just put it that way. That kind of conflicted with the things I saw. It just didn't, you know what I mean? When it just didn't, it was some sci-fi, some very interesting, very strange things. And one of those things that I saw was this meeting. And in the meeting of a group of people, it was a lot of them, and I really didn't understand because I was looking at them and they were all white people. If you've seen any of my other videos, or if you go figure, I'm black. I'm in a black skin suit. And I was looking at this group of people, and I was looking at them strangely because I didn't understand why all of them were white. I didn't understand why they were in green, and I didn't understand why they were cheering and why they were just as happy as could be, because I was very serious. It's my nature. God showed forth me in my element. I didn't quite understand it, and whatever now. But I saw them waving their flags of green on their face, like, sports. When people put the little lines underneath their eyes, stuff like that. And I looked at them with a serious face. And then I went to a desk. And when I went to the desk, because it looked like a university of some sort, some type of school event, like how maybe college football would be, so to speak. And I went to the desk and I said, I have a 3 o'clock appointment with the dean. And there was no issues with that. I don't remember seeing anything after what was the meeting. None of that. But I know I asked for that meeting, or I showed up to that meeting with the dean. When I received a lot of these visions, you all, I was in a place called Newport News, Virginia. And I had been going through some things, and I really, really wanted to seek God because I really, really wanted the favor of God to help me, help my family. And it was a strange time, especially for someone in their 20s, right? You know, maybe I should be out party hardy, you know, having myself a good old time. But at this time, I was fasting and praying and trying to go seek God that I've heard about. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, don't have no reason to. I wasn't interested in really the God of like what I seen growing up in church, where I'm from, which is the South. And I don't know why, but I have this energy right now. Like I said, it's old. And with my channelings, it is, if you don't know, now you know, that they go in and out and in and out of different things. And maybe that's why I felt old as a child. And I still feel old. And I think a lot of the work negatively that was sent out to me didn't do nothing but bring me even deeper into my chrome Yaga energy, who at this time, though surrounded by uncertainties, is too old to be afraid. Too old to be sitting up here wanting anything outside of herself, too much to the point that it will cause confusion and illusions that she ain't as old as she is. Now, with that being said, I connected, I believe, with a lot of ancestor energy because of where I was. For those who know of Virginia and its ports, you know. And I think they were trying to send me messages because I was told of me eventually going to be giving birth to a baby boy and not to put him over any other child of mine. It was just at that time I was given certain specifics because I was asking God, the universe, source, whatever you wilt to call it, signs that I knew I was talking to, you know, that which governs us all. And it was really conflicting at that time because, you know, I was constantly being told the Father, the Father, the Father. But when I would go to crying in the midst of those uncertainties at that time, I would call out to my mama naturally. And she would say to me that, you know, certain things were a liar. And so I would find comfort in her. And I would be there with her. Though I wasn't happy in one degree, because I still wasn't getting the answers to the reason why my family dynamic wasn't healing the way I wanted it to. But I was happy because I had discovered something, and now that I look at it from a broader view, that some things loved me very much, and I loved them too. I'm getting The Witches right now. the movie, the old version. I know they have a newer version with is it Olivia Spencer and Chris Rock? I don't know, it might be them too. But yeah, Zelda, the woman that played Zelda in The Shape of Water. Good God Almighty. Lord, when I feel this hit of energy, I just feel tired. But I'm going to tell you, it's the type of tired that just don't give a damn. I just don't care what nobody got to say about me right now. At least it hasn't been that way for a while. And not because, I don't love nobody and I don't care about nobody, or I don't care about myself. It's just that when this type of aging hits you, it's like, well, damn, I got other things to worry about. If that's the case, and I'm not worried about that, so, why should I feel any way at all? It's just, as people say, emotions. And if it's emotional, then why I gotta sit up there and be entrapped in emotions? And if emotions gonna rule me, then I ain't as old as I think I am. But if emotions can stay still, then either I am, or it is, or all will be. That's why I can say with confidence and that I'm all in. And it doesn't conflict with the fact that I'm not interested in any contracts that are not of us all. What they've given me, because it's not about man. Never has been really with me. Just never really has. I don't count it too strange. Some people say it's about experience. And so everybody has their own experiences in life. But when they brought this up to me today, I said, oh yeah, I remember that. It was so many happenings at that time that are precious to me. Still until this day. They bring me joy. They bring me peace in the midst of sorrow, or what may not be so clear, or, man versus God type of energy. So much weight has been put on other people and their opinions, and I'm finally getting to the point, and I really am grateful for it, where I have one of my own based on the degrees I've been able to observe in this life. I think it beautiful. I think it strange, but in a good way, enough to want to take my time. Be kind and rewind. Not be rewinding based on somebody's timeline of what they want me to focus on. But when God goes and take you back to the past of things that they've said to you, little diamonds and pearls and sapphires and rubies and all types of beautiful adornments that they laid on the path of the orphaned child. Maybe many have left waddling in her blood. Maybe many have left her in fields where she was supposed to feel abandoned, while trying to crucify her for so-called abandonment. But my grimness needs no explanation anymore, because grim is just grim for its reasons and for its purposes, and I respect the energy. to the point we might just be old friends. And if that be the case, why would I ever feel away? Now, some movies have come to mind today about positions certain people been in and who may be doing them something and who may not. I don't know. But I saw a bald figure trying to talk to me some mess in the dream state. And I said, well, you know, I still had something to say sweet to the innocent little person that showed up in that state, looked like being sent out by that, they had such a big round bald head. And I said, okay, I ain't never seen nothing like that before where I can actually make the shape out of the person's crown. But I saw it, and though they were perched on the door frame, I said to myself, even in that circumstance, I was going to speak truth to that which meant something to me in the dream, not that which had sent her. And I thought to myself, now that's something. You can say something even then when something is trying to put its claws into you and into someone you love to try to bring forth an emotion or an attachment to make you feel some type of way. Now that's power. And I wasn't yelling anything. I was just speaking as how I speak when I'm in my calm state. The truth of who she truly is, a sweet girl. I've been picking up High Priestess energy from Shaka Zulu. I watched that a lot as a child because it was fascinating to me of people that had high priestesses with sagging breasts that looked like raisins dried up, but them women knew something, didn't it? Eyes white. Yes, Shaka. It is so. It wasn't about no beauty there, was it? It was about what you knew, what you know. Dark forces, the lightning that came down as she lifted up her hands with the staff, proclaiming forth what was supposed to go ahead, even though some tried to delay and stop it. His ascension to the throne. He had been hunted. His mother had been disregarded. And it was just some bullshit, you know, that karmic soul tie stuff we be talking about. But behold, he still was the king. And with all that being said and done, and irregardless of any trickery that took hold of his life as so forth shown in the film, he surely expanded that place in a beautiful way. I didn't really pick up on it until I was really looking. I said, well, he did a whole lot more than his daddy. Them huts was more expanded and luxurious, but it was so many people that enjoyed themselves seemingly around him. So I digress on that, but ooh. It was just It was just interesting to me. You know, people like to focus on the one thing, and sometimes we do it ourselves because it's maybe only meant for us to catch one thing on the one hand, but then on another hand, you know, as time progressed and you've gotten bored of the one thing you done kept on catching all that time, you could see something else, is all I'm saying. Coffin energy engraved. Those who break in to steal, to rob, to desecrate, the earthen tombs made by no man's hands, called our vessels, whether it be of chakra energy, intellectual property, whatever it is that they so choose to take. My wonderings, is it worth it? That weight. You remember when I talked about in one of my reads, for those who really truly do watch me for good reasons, we talked about that maleficent energy in her wings and that tyrannical energy of the one that has stolen from her. And he was bent on finding a way to harm her because he didn't want to submit. Now you would think he would have brought her wings, apologized, and told her with sincerity from his heart, not because he was trying to save his life or even that of the child's life that he wanted to protect, though he brought her into curses when he decided to cross such a being as Maleficent, and then wanted to paint a cruel picture of her. And I'm sure in that energy, where can you fly now, Maleficent? And I'm sure part of her felt, the cruelty of the injustice of, being able to fly and then not being able to fly. But then she received unto herself a creature that could fly. So, all of these things basically is saying, baby, that, where one may feel like they're taking one thing away, something else is enhancing, is growing. That's a beautiful thing when we discover that in different so-called disabilities, so to speak. They come in different forms. Sometimes whether you, as I saw today and read, whether you feel sick or not. And so her disability was the fact that, something that was precious to her and belonged to her was cut away. But in all divinity, even in the midst of her anger of what she said, which was valid concerning him and what he found to be precious nonetheless, all that was innocent was covered in the end, and all that wasn't covered. Now, ain't that something? Grace and judgment all in the same place. Somebody said today, guilty and approved. I don't know. I hear you. I hear people. I hear that. But when I look at it, I say, I'm all in because they know how to do what they do. These energies that are old, that deal in death, Yaga's energy is part of that, right? That's that in the divine feminine, everybody wants to sit up there and attribute it just to the fact that she can be gnarly. Does that make me crazy? Anyway, I don't know why that came up when I said the word gnarly. But what she is a disciplinarian. That's the energy of mama. And yeah, you play with her, she may eat you. That's for sure. Gobble, 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 yeah. But like, what is it? Vasilisa? I don't know if I'm saying the name right. Like the story of them people who sent her out into the woods because they wanted her to not return back unto her home. They had ill intentions for her, but she had something with her that was precious, given to her by another archetype of mama's energy. And she was able to journey to a ferocious house with chicken feet and not be eaten, and return with the justice that actually ended up consuming those who were sending her out, who had no good intentions. You know, this is when the ancestors would say, God, you see and you know, and throw their hands up at certain stuff. You know, God, you see and you know. Because in this vessel, in the way you have fashioned me, sometimes I don't see and sometimes I do. Sometimes I look like a dang on diddly-do-do-do fool. And that's all right. But these conversations we have are so deep. And sometimes I do forget to look on to foolish things, because there's so much foolishness in the world, yeah. But when I get through looking at those things, my mind goes back to the one thing that always make those foolish things make sense. Even if it's just slightly a little bit. What do you say to me, moon? You sun and you shining stars. The terrestrial and the extraterrestrial. Bend thy bow, O Jupiter, and let the arrow hit where it needs be. Not just from the impulses, but from the ocean streams. Deep down in the water blue until it turns dark and I shiver and shake. Just to be born again above it, shining. I am aware that people have gifts that they do over time, and they have their methods for their rituals or whatever it is they choose to do. But I still believe in the old that says he's an on-time God. Yes, he is. I have no shame in that. I have no blame in that. And all the things that people have thought they've taken away from me, things now, you know, even if it was spiritual, it's their perspective of what they think I feel about it, I guess, or what they feel about it. I don't know. But that doesn't still take away from the conversation between a parent and their child. That's intimate. That don't belong to you will never belong to you. And it only can be truly shared with those that really love me, because it's within them too. This is not about competitiveness over the language of God, which comes in many languages, known and unknown. Much like all the beings that surround us, I realize there's things that have loved me and I did not remember. but they remembered me. And that's beautiful in itself. There's sometimes even religion, when it says it has to be, when we talk about constrictive things, it just has to be this one way. And then you're opened up to that there's paths in different ways. And then you're opened up even more to just the fact that, hey, I can be a baby with these things. And then when I'm ready to grow, they're fine with that too, as long as I remain humble enough to be open to them. There are various forms, no matter how ferocious they appear to be. No matter what realm, ascended, descended, backwards and forward. Or somebody say dyslexia. It does, in that sense, keep you ahead of the game. But when it's not a game for you and it's sincerity, then what does that give you? That gives you love. That gives you intimacy with things that where it feels like that's all it's about, but it's something else deeper. It pulls you into the root, yeah, but a place where it becomes healing, revealing, and even shielding. Because those type of alliances, they run deep. They mean lifetime after lifetime, no matter what you remember. No, you have family. I thank God, the Most High, the universe, mama, daddy, all, their various aspects for being such good family and friends to me, when maybe not a soul had a kind word. Where I've gone through transformation after transformation after transformation. And sometimes I didn't even know. What is this for? Uncomfortable situation after uncomfortable situation. How curious is that? How peculiar. So when I say I'm all in, my allegiance is to them. Because no matter what pool of, beings I'm in, whether it's in love and true care or a trick, they know who I am and what I feel and what I agree with and what I disagree with and what I am for and what I'm not for, what I'm neutral about and everything else, because we've been having conversation, talk if you will, for years. The energies I've pillow talked with when I didn't have a partner to pillow talk with. Indeed. Service comes in a lot of different forms. And I'm aware that the best kinds is the kind that is intimate. It's between you and the energies. And when it's supposed to be revealed, it will. If it's supposed to be. Whether in your time or another's time. That's why it's the beauty of generations. Or as someone discussed today, what one can do with a year and not undervaluing what you can do with 5 years, 10 years. The same thing with lineages. Maybe I won't get it all done, but passing the baton and seeing value in others that can go forth and shine forth their light in the midst of darkness. Beautiful, yes. Intense, yes. Sometimes we don't like everything we see. But as I like to say, like shit on concrete, it's there. And you can observe and you can bypass it and you can put your nose up to it. You can take in the smell, however you want to deal with it, but it exists and it's there. And boundaries is whether or not you want to put your shoe in it. Boundaries is whether or not you want to deal with it or clean it up. Value is placed in how you want to be because you are valuable, just like the shit. With that being said, I am grateful for the visions that bring forth peace of mind. I am grateful for all my ancestors that come from all types of lineages, which makes me more open to what I see in this world that is material, of flesh and bone and blood. But there's also this recognition of I can walk past people and love them by not tampering with them. Then there's people I can love them and want to hug and be all up on them. Some people I'm neutral, not sure, and it's all good. But patience is what I'll give to myself, for it's a virtue not just to be practiced with other people, whether it's of a good practice or somebody with bullshit or whatever. It's worth diving into with yourself especially. You can extend it to other people in the midst of looking at what the most higher ups have to say about things. Then it's just allowing that to be, letting it settle, letting the dust settle. And then this old way of feeling, of my soul, it just don't got time to be somewhere thinking too hard on nothing. Or being in despair over what? Anyway, I thought I would share. Ashe to those who love me and I love. Good night.